conversation is going round. People talking about the colors come to town. Fresh as a summer breeze, she'll take you by surprise.
Welcome to another fabulous episode of Freshwaves. We are broadcasting live this morning on Whistle FM 102.9 in Stouffville. And if you're outside of the Stouffville area, you can tune in at whistlefm.com, which is crazy because if you aren't tuned in, you wouldn't know anyway. But if you're listening to a podcast, you can always catch us live on Wednesday mornings at Whistle FM. And we're happy to answer any questions you have. So if you'd like to chime in at any time this morning on what we're talking about, then please feel free to send us a Facebook message, or our tech producer behind the mic, Jason Rumball, will help you figure out how else you can get a hold of us.
Of course, yeah. Good morning, Bren. Good morning, Jolana. Good morning, everybody. And yes, you can interact with us on social media. We have a Facebook page, Freshwaves, on Whistle FM on Facebook. We're also on Twitter at Freshwaves Radio.
Perfect. Thanks, Jay.
You're welcome.
And Ivan Harris, thank you for all the wonderful work you do here at the station. This is our third Wednesday of the month, which means that Reese's has provided us with great muffins for Jolana. Jolana Pettifer of Jolana's Exceptional Home Decor. Jolana loves Reese's muffins,
I do.
Don't you?
They're amazing.
Right, and Reese's is at
I love everything
5758 Main Street.
I like everything at Reese's.
Me too. I'm fighting a little bit of a cold this morning, so if I have to duck out, then Jolana's going to take over. Jolana, we're talking about color.
Yes,
I
we
want
are.
you to just take it away. Tell me about color. We're talking about painting because it's one of the cheapest things that you can do that gives your house a whole facelift.
Yeah, and it's not only just a facelift. It can literally update the home. So the great thing about color is trying to figure out, okay, what are we trying to showcase? Are we trying to showcase the home, the architecture of the home? Are we trying to showcase the furniture? Is there a lot of antiques in the home? Is it a more modern application where we want our walls to be pretty much like a blank canvas that then we can add color to with various art pieces, etc.? So you really do have to kind of step back and have a look at the space or whole home that you want to give a whole new look to. So color is the easiest way to do that. And there's a reason why when you're staging a home to sell, what do the real estate agents tell you? What's
Give
the
it
first
a
thing?
paint.
Give it a paint, right?
And you know, it's one of those funny things. When I went to repaint my house, it's because I had 25 years of children's fingerprints, dog snot, all the different things that come on the wall. We've moved my daughter through her university career at Waterloo University. She did co-op. So every 4 months we moved her.
Yep.
New place, had new contours. So a bed came home and a bed went back. And through all of those moves over 5 years, the dings and dents and smudges and marks on my walls is insane.
Yeah.
It's like, did you boys think when you were moving that bed? Good grief.
Now
so it's time to paint.
It is.
It's time to paint. And what I did was I took the grate off of the wall, took it into the paint store, Benjamin Moore, and said, can you match this color? Mm-hmm. And then I was talking to you on one of the Fresh Waves shows, and I thought, why did I do that? This is my opportunity now. That's the original paint color from when I moved in 2002. Is it not time to change things up and paint it what I would want to paint it or modernize it?
Yeah, for sure.
And there we go.
What you'll find too is the average person out there is going to change up or get tired of their colors or want to just give it a boost in some way, whether it's focal wall, every 8 to 10 years. That's kind of your cycle.
Really?
So the fact that
18,
you've
I've
made
been pushing it.
the fact that you've made it to 18 years is pretty impressive.
Okay, it's 16. I'm really bad at math. All right, so we have some pictures on the website. So if you go to freshwaves.ca and go under, what is it under, Jay?
It's under Jolana Pettifer.
Okay,
Yeah.
go under Jolana Pettifer because she's a regular guest, so she gets her own page on my website.
Goodness.
So on the Jolana page, which is Jolana, you will see some pictures of my front entrance and the fact that I cannot paint just one wall because one wall runs into another wall, which runs into a ceiling space, which goes into an office space and down a hallway towards the kitchen and the family room. So it's a lot of wall. You can't just start with one. You've got to do them all. So we're looking at color this morning and we're going to use my house as an example just because of that, because I guess you can create a space unto itself with color. I have seen people take a huge room and kind of divide it in two with color. And you can change a person's focus.
Absolutely, you can. Yeah. And then we'll be talking a little bit more. We'll start with color, but we're going to talk about a few other things, and we'll keep going back to this page. So anyone who's listening, if they can actually go on this page, I think it'll help them follow through what we'll be talking about.
Right.
So what you can see from all the pictures is Brenda's home is spectacular. It is contemporary. It has very unusual features, from the staircases to the walls, the height of walls. We have some pictures on there, I think, from previous shows showing your living room and the unique architecture in that house. And literally your entire home follows through with these incredible lines. So when it comes to choosing color, what we talked about when we first started off is, what are we trying to showcase? In your particular home, you not only have the wood detailing, you've got the window detailing, you've got the high ceiling detailing. So you have so much going on in there, which really affords you a lot of opportunity to do some really amazing things. In your case, I mean, we talked about if we choose a color, number one, you're dedicating to a color, and that can be pretty hard to live with for a long period of time. So if you choose more of a neutral tone, and again, in your home, because you have the Mexican tiles on the floor, and you can see that in some of the pictures, they have a lot of warmth in them, which has a lot of the blushes, the pinks, the yellows, and then it also has sort of like the gray grout. So you've got a little bit of a combination of colors happening there, right? For sure. So in order to choose a color, you either have to choose a color that's going to neutralize it, or we can bring in colors in other ways, which we'll be talking about in a little bit, that complement it and work with it. So the neutralizing element in this particular case, what I'm suggesting is, if you take a color like Edgecomb. Now, this is Benjamin Moore. It is HC-173. Why am I suggesting that? Number one, it is neither beige nor gray. I call it a grayish.
Yes, grayish.
Right? So a lot of people go, oh my gosh, but that's so boring. But it's what you do with that canvas, because your walls will become your canvas for anything else that you decide to put on it. Artwork, so important. People do not realize that artwork is critical. And when I say artwork, it's not just paintings, it's wall art. So it can be three-dimensional elements. Those are the things that are going to give it a lot of interest. And I also love to use a lot of natural elements. So on some of the pictures that I actually sent Jay this morning, vases with really, really nice branches in it. Those are the kinds of things that will enhance what you've got without taking away from what you have.
Okay. Now, you and I have talked before, and I promised I would not insult it, so I'm going to say boring beige.
Yep.
Not the other word that I use for it that also begins with B. So, I have, over my lifetime, had an aversion to boring beige.
Yep.
However, when I go to Europe, it's a cultural thing. When I'm in Switzerland,
everything is neutral.
A lot of the walls are white.
Yes, they are.
They're not even beige. They are white. Pure white.
And what comes off? What do you see? Because we go to Europe too.
Yeah.
What do you always see?
You see the lines. You see the architecture, and then there's always a lot of art on the wall. They're very big, Italian and Swiss. They're very big on art, and a lot of it is colorful art.
Yes, it is.
Then again, I have an uncle who has a very white apartment. It's a small space, so the white makes it look a little bigger and brighter.
So he probably uses a lot of blacks and grays.
But he has a picture. It's not a painting. It's a picture that is all ink. And it's black on white.
Yep.
It is spectacular
Sure it is.
against the white wall with the thinnest of thin black frames around it. Oh my goodness, Jolana. That's a whole other show we have to do, is how to frame a picture and how to hang a picture, but that's another show. And stay tuned for that one because it is coming up. So you take that whiteness. I don't have a problem with that whiteness, but what I do have a problem with is the fact that we live in Canada.
Yep.
We have months and months and months and months of cold and dreary weather. And I like something that looks a little brighter. So sometimes in my heart of hearts, I like to bring color in just to brighten up a space. However, I've been friends with you for so long. For so long, I can't even tell you. It seems like forever. And I keep picking up things and I keep listening to you. And I'm almost tempted to go back to the white.
Yeah. Well, and white, we talked about that as an option too.
But white, you made a very interesting comment about the white. And you said to me, I showed you one in particular and you said stark. And cold. And I had never considered white to be necessarily cold. But it can be.
Oh, there's lots of whites, of course.
There's a million different whites, but some of them are very bright and very cold. So when you talk about cloud white, it kind of conjures up images of fluffy clouds on a summer day. But this does seem to have a little bit of a yellow to it.
Yeah, when you put it up against a white piece of paper, for example, you'll see it has a lot of warmth to it. It is not a white. Your eye will actually register it as white, but it is not white. And if you Google, oh my goodness, modern interiors, I mean, what you'll find is probably 90% of them are going to be white or slightly off gray beige. That is for a reason, and it is to showcase the detailing, the lines, the architecture of the home. So yeah, there's reasons for it. Absolutely, there's reasons for it.
Now, that's not to say that there isn't a place for color.
Of course.
Because we are going to be adding
we talked about focal walls.
Color. And that, if you go on the website, you can see that one wall, and it's an accent wall. It doesn't really need to be there.
No, but it's like a freestanding piece of art wall, which is what it's going to end up looking like.
And for that one, we're actually going to choose a color that is very dark.
Yep.
It's
called Newburgh.
Green.
Yep.
And you know, since we spoke about that, and you can see in the picture, I've taped a little piece of it beside the painting that's on the wall. A friend of mine came in and said, "Oh, you're going to do that wall? That's my favorite color in the world." And I said, "What? Newburgh green? You know Newburgh green?" He said, "Yeah. Use it all the time. Love it.
Yeah,
it's a great
fabulous color. Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen it before in my life.
And what I think you're going to be blown away with, when you walk in, you are not going to look at that as a painted wall. It will become a piece of art. It's very unique the way they've done that particular, it's almost like a partition, which it is, right, to the dining room. But they've kept the open shelf-like look to the left of it. So it will actually float in the room. And then by putting the smaller piece there that you've kind of had gallery framed, I think, you're going to be blown away at what that looks like. So I think it's going to really give you an impact that you're not even expecting, like at all.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to all of these wonderful things. For those of you who've just tuned in, you're listening to Fresh Waves. We're broadcasting live this morning at Whistle FM, 102.9 FM in Stouffville, and whistlefm.com anywhere in the world. And we've got Jolana Pettifer in the house this morning. I'm your host, Bren Masson, and we're talking about decorating, but we're talking about the colors of decorating. Now, that's going to lead us into all kinds of different realms. We're going to talk about drapery and color of drapery. We're going to talk about the color of, say, furniture. If you've got a big, bright red couch, you may not want to use Benjamin Moore's color of the year, which is some sort of a burgundy weird color. We'll talk about also the color of flooring. And we'll talk about the colors of railings and banisters and window frames. as well. We'll talk about color in a way that you've never thought of color before. Usually you go out and you have in your mind, I want a nice blue plaid couch with an area rug that's off-white. Oh, then I have the black cat and the black dog. Maybe not do the off-white carpet. You know, we've got to pull in what you like, what's practical in your world, and also what shows off the different features of your house. So, we have had, wasn't that pretty? We've got all these pictures floating around the station. I know it's hard to do this on radio, and that's why we've put up the pictures of the house on the website. So if you go to freshwaves.ca while you're listening to this, even if you're listening to the podcast, you know, open a new tab and go over to freshwaves.ca and take a look at the pictures. I think you'll be pretty surprised at what you see. It's time for us to take a little break here. We're going to pay some bills at the station, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Fresh Waves.
Stouffville is a growing and vibrant community. Whistle FM 102.9 wants you to be part of our radio family. There is no better way than by becoming a member. And here's how to do it. Go to whistlefm.com, go to Become a Member, and click on Join Today.
Hey everyone, this is Lil J. Join me every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for the Block Party. A 2-hour journey of the best in the Canadian underground dance music scene, featuring tracks and DJ mixes from Canada's emerging artists, from the disco hits of the 70s to the latest dance floor fillers. No lineups or cover charges, it's your weekly free access to the beats that are packing dance floors in Canada and around the world. The Block Party, Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on 102.9 Whistle FM and online at whistleradio.ca.
Here we are. We're live in the studio this morning. If you're listening to the podcast, we're not live. So don't try and call us because we're not there, but that's okay. We are always here for you. If you have questions at any time, don't hesitate to drop us a line on Facebook, ask your question. If you don't have Facebook, you can always email me, Bren at freshwaves.ca, and I'll get your question to Jolana and we'll have another chat. Jolana's on the show once a month and we can kind of save up all of our decorating questions for our once a month with Jolana. So Jolana?
Yeah.
Color transcends walls.
Absolutely it does. So your walls are your canvas. It's what you do with your walls. It's what you do with your furniture. If you like a very relaxed room, you know, think upscale casual, you're going to bring in colors and textures, warm tones, maybe brown leathers, maybe cowhides or faux hides. There's all sorts of available choices out there for you if you don't want to use actual hides from animals. Bringing in bright colors, cool colors, warm colors. This is where you set your palette. And again, I'm going to go back to your living room that we did. If you end up bringing in color that way, it doesn't take away from the architecture. And you're quite neutral in that room as it is right now.
Yeah.
Right? So when you walk in, you don't lose the detailing of your architecture, but you've added the warmth and everything else that's in there. The greens, the reds, that's what's going to give you the character. If you've got more of a modern palette, then you can go into sort of your teals, maybe pair it with a little bit of gold or yellows and whites, maybe a little bit of green. I mean, it's a whole other color palette, but you can still have a neutral wall if you choose to and play up on these elements just by simply bringing them into other ways. If you have a really large wall, for example, grab an oversized piece of art. If you're at all a painter or you want to try and dabble in that, go out and get yourself a huge canvas. It's incredible. And I've shot Jay some pictures, which we will probably end up putting online as well. It's an example of an oversized painting. It's huge and it has the greens in it, but then from the sides, it has the reds in it. So again, you've got a really huge wall. Brenda's, we're coming down the stairs. I think it's the third picture over.
Yep.
If you take the picture off of the one that you have above the doorway and take off the map picture, picture to put something oversized there, but really powerful. And I've chosen this particular picture because you do love the reds. You've got it in various areas in your front of your house. But so by actually doing the side of your canvas in the reds and then doing whatever color, in this particular case, it's the greens, which is pretty spectacular because of where you live. You've got all that natural element outside, just outside those windows. So it would be a way to give you huge impact, but your walls are still neutral. So don't ever feel that it's going to look boring. It's not. It's what you do with it. I was showing Brandon, I'll send it over to Jay as well. We just staged a home, and they have some modern elements, some classic elements, some traditional elements. And there was a front hall where I felt it needed some impact. So we just took black and whites, modern piece, a couple of stools underneath a console table. I took a reading lamp, but I faced it up towards the picture. So now it becomes this incredible focal. They saw it and they were blown away by it. And it's just using probably 90% of what you've already got in your home. You just don't know how to put it together. So really great things you can do.
I'm thinking now.
Yeah.
You're going to get rid of my map?
Yeah, I would, but we'll relocate it. There's always a place to put the map.
Good.
And the reason I'm saying that, if you look at picture number 4, having that picture above the door, you don't even see the map, because where's your eye going to? It's going to the brighter colors, because our eyes will naturally be drawn to the colors,
brighter colors,
right?
Yeah. I've
And
never
then,
liked that painting. I know it's my husband's, he likes it, but
there's somewhere else we can put it, right? Right. And so we'll put your map somewhere else where it's going to get the attention that it deserves, because where it is right now, you miss it. You totally miss it.
Yeah. But I don't miss it, because I look at it almost every day. I like looking at the world.
Well, we would make sure we would put it in an area where you are still going to see it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
great.
yeah.
So I'm not going to lose it, because
no, I'm not suggesting that. Yeah.
Okay. We do have a question from a listener. And basically her question is, she's not keen on the Mexican tile, and thinks that if we put the really basic neutrals on the walls, it will make the Mexican tile stand out more.
Okay, but what did we just talk about with the painting?
We talked about it, but we're going to take a little break, and we'll come back. And when we come back, we'll answer that question. And Terry says, go ahead and use my name. So we'll go ahead and use her name, and we'll talk about that right after the break.
Hey, I'm whistling. Would you like to whistle too? Whistle FM is looking for a few good volunteers. Come and join our team and learn a new skill. We're looking for producers, show hosts, and even people to help out around the station. Learn something new and meet new people. Email us at admin@whistleradio.com or drop by the station behind Stillville Fine Furniture. We hope to see you soon.
Hey everyone, this is Lil J. Join me every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for the Block Party. A 2-hour journey of the best in the Canadian underground dance music scene, featuring tracks and DJ mixes from Canada's emerging artists, from the disco hits of the 70s to the latest dance floor fillers. No lineups or cover charges, it's your weekly free access to the beats that are packing dance floors in Canada and around the world. The Block Party, Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on 102.9 Whistle FM and online at whistleradio.ca.
The Whitchurch-Stouffville Fire Department wants everyone to plan 2 ways out of their home. If a fire broke out tonight while you were sleeping, would you and your loved ones be able to get out safely? Take a few minutes to plan your escape from fire and practice it with everyone in your household. Arrange a meeting place where everyone can meet and call 911 from outside of the home. This is a message from Whitchurch-Stouffville Fire and Emergency Services.